What's good everyone, Momo here with a very quick review on the newest Devil Jin buffs. What I'm gonna do now is I'll probably just put the patch notes on your screen now for a few seconds so you can quickly read into them. Most of you probably have already read into them anyway, and let's get right into it. So, very first change is the Heat Smash and being able to cancel into standing. And on shallow block, it's only like +2 on block, and depending on from where they block it, can become up to +12. So from here, it's +12. And the average situation where you would block a Heat Smash against Devil Jin is kind of around these ranges, so like this range, and here it's still only +2. Using that Heat Smash from ranges from like 4.0 or whatever is just asking yourself to get killed, because people will just do one single backdash here or a micro stab, and this shit whiffs and you die. So not really worth it. I think in general this Heat Smash is a piece of shit. It's just not good. And I don't see a reason to use it from range just because it's +12. You might as well just use a Mourning Crow 2 into Heat Dash or up for 1 into Heat Dash. You're much better off using those kinds of moves, even though they have risk too, over that Heat Smash. So, you know, not really a relevant buff in my opinion. Then the next change, the Perfect Electric, and I've been asked a lot on my stream, a lot. Do you think that Perfect Electric makes a change? Should I be learning the Neo input? And I'm here to say no, it doesn't really matter. Like that 30 frame electric is nice to have, don't get me wrong. But unlike Kazuya and Reina, you can't do the Perfect Electric from crouch anyway, since you don't have a movement option to cancel your crouch. So, and you can't really do it out of movement either. You can't really do a Perfect Electric out of a wave, for example, the way you can do with a normal electric. You can do it from sidestep. Like here, it can make a difference, depending on how fast you are. But unlike Kazuya, you don't get a Wind God Fist for getting that perfect electric input, but messing it up by 1 frame, you still get a down for 2 instead. Kazuya would get a 14 frame Wind God Fist. Not an electric Wind God Fist, but a Wind God Fist if he fails the frame, like the perfect electric input, but like is only late by a frame. And then what else are you left with? You can use the perfect electric for a keep out. It's like it's 1 frame faster there. Yeah, so this is the input forward, neutral down forward +2. This is a 30 frame electric, but it doesn't really do much for Devil Jin. And then obviously people came to me asking, do you think Wising 3 into follow-up is more worth it now? And like I'm glad there are people who have an easier time doing this now. But the issue at hand is something else, entirely. Like check the scaling on the bottom right. This combo, even without the voice standing free on counter, like with a vanilla electric, would do at least 80 damage, if not even more. With that voice standing free on counter, your damage just scales so hard that going for the electric isn't even that worth it, unless you really need that wall carry. I'm not warmed up right now, so I kind of failed to follow up the whole time, so excuse me for that, but the other issue at hand, like not only do you have the scaling issue, but at the same time, Vice Taking Free is also just not a good mid. It's -11 on block, it doesn't really track. It's pretty slow since you have to buffer the free in the neutral and then do it from a wave or whatever, or like from a crouch dash. And you can do it from like down back 2 or whatever, but it's still -11 on block and not really worth it in my eyes. Like the only purpose I see for this move is for people trying to parry my Vice Taking 4 after down back 2, for example. And that's it. I don't like I use it because it's a knee. Other than that, I don't really see much use for the move. And like if you have an easier time doing the follow-up from this with the perfect electric input, go ahead. But again, the issue at hand is that Vice Increase is just a bad move. So it doesn't matter if it's easier now. So once again, I don't think that perfect electric makes that much of a difference. And you know, even with all these buffs, like it's 2 buffs, so it's really whatever. But the issue is, and I've said it on stream, he was a worse character than Panda before this, he's still a worse character than Panda now. Like these buffs did not really skyrocket him or whatever. He's not stronger than anyone else in this, like in the bottom 5 area or whatever. He's still bottom tier. So yeah, that perfect electric pretty much does nothing. That Heat Smash on block situation is kind of nice, but it also just it doesn't do much for the character. That's what I'm trying to say. What else? They buffed the tracking on the second hit of this, so it doesn't randomly buff when they sidestep in between, which used to happen a lot. I'm not sure if I can replicate it though. Probably have to do it with a Nah, this move is so linear, I don't think I can replicate it. But, there we go. Here, in this situation, the second hit would whiff. Like, the first one would hit, the second one would whiff, and then what Devil Jin would do when you input something like the 1+2 follow-up, he would just laser into nothing and die. Let me tell you though, I don't think up 4 3+4 is a good move at all. The only time I would recommend you to use that move really is when you land the heat engager, because then there's nothing they can do except guess for either the sweep or this. The sweep is 16 frames after heat engager, and up 4 3+4 is also 16 frames, since you can buffer crouch dashes entirely after heat engager. So it's a good mix-up in theory. But other than that, it just takes away way too much from your heat timer, and it's pretty linear. It's minus 15 on block. As you can see, your heat just completely runs out. You have no momentum, so it's nice that they buffed the tracking, but I never used this in the neutral anyway, so the tracking never really mattered to me. I don't think it's a good move. Unless, of course, after heat engager, that's when it's fine to use, but again, doesn't really do much for the character. And then the last thing they've fixed, well, not really even fixed, but, you know, was the Wisening 2. They buffed the hitbox, like, upwards, so it wouldn't whiff when you duck highs, for example, to try to punish. However, this still happens with a lot of moves. There we go. Immediately replicated it. Even though they tried to fix it, it's still not fixed, so, you know, this character still remains dog. And then there's another issue currently with Devil Jin's Rage Art against Heihachi, where the timer just keeps running in matches. Usually what would happen with Rage Arts is that the timer would stop while the Rage Art is running. And there's also another issue at hand. When we go to the wall and I make the Heihachi block, let's say I enter heat like this, and we stack some chip. Oops, I realized I need rage for this. So once again we stack some chip. And then we rage art. Oh yeah, this is a new line, by the way, it's pretty cool, but check what happens after the rage art. It does not delete gray health. Usually what the rage art would do is it would delete gray health entirely, and usually this is an issue for Devil Jins. Like what I would do, I would use the rage art just to delete their gray health so I can keep them from making a comeback. This does not work against Heihachi and only against Heihachi, and you will be facing Heihachi a lot currently since, you know, he's new. It's a pretty game-losing bug, so, you know, this character is still a buggy piece of shit. Yeah. Still love him though, he's still pretty fun. I don't really think much of Heihachi. I won't be maining him. I will still be playing Devil Jin, but it's just frustrating to see all these bugs piling up and up and up and up and having to deal with all this shit in matches. Anyway, this was my thoughts on the patch. It changed literally nothing. They buffed Xiaoyu, thank God. Yeah, Momo, peace.